Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is the horoscope for Libra. If Libra is your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising sign, then this is a message for you. All right, let's get started. And so, Libra, this is a bonus reading, and our card tonight is the High Priestess. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look and see what these tea leaves have to say. And so if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit that little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. It is free to subscribe. And also, if you'd like to hit the like button or leave a comment, I would love to hear from you, especially if you're new to the channel. Definitely shout it out in the comment section. Okay. So I want to look at, we have, right, where are you? Right here. Is that it? Yeah. No. I'm sorry. I'm trying to find where it went. Okay, so it is this one right here. So we have, it looks like a face here. Now, this one right here, you can see the eyes, the nose, the mouth. And it looks like a deer. It does. It looks like a young deer. But we also have, I should have said something when I first saw it, because sometimes the interesting thing about, here it is. The interesting thing about tea leaves, about anything that you're scrying, it can look one way in a moment and then it looks completely different as the context changes. When I do my readings, I see the different formations as I'm doing it, and then when I go back to edit the video, I'll see completely different stuff. And it isn't that we've missed things, it really does have so much to do with the witness and, right, the state of mind, the alignment that you're in. So you might see completely different things while I'm doing my reading, and that has a lot to do with your psyche, right? And that is what is so interesting about scrying. Now, we also have the fox. You can see the eyes here, you can see the nose, you can kind of see the fluffy sides of the face. And so we're looking at a deer, we're looking at a fox, and I'm imagining we have kind of a younger deer. And for me, the deer always is related to a spiritual awakening, a realization of some deep connection in your spirit world, in your spiritual path. And it is a very clear and potent manifestation of the divine, okay? If you're dreaming about deer, if it's a stag, if it's a doe, if it is a little baby, it doesn't matter. These are all different things, and they are different expressions of the divine. But when you experience them, you know this is a very sacred moment, okay? So if it's in your dreams, visions, meditations, or in real life, right? When we encounter deer on the road, or as we're walking, we might see them in a field or in the backyard or whatever, right? Now, we also have the fox. So I know that there is kind of a slyness that is somewhere in your life. And I feel like this is a person who maybe has noticed that you're really preoccupied with the spiritual work that you're doing, the self-work that you are doing. Maybe even to the point where yeah, you're not paying attention to maybe your job as much. You're doing the work, and you're more than proficient, but it's not your main focus, right? This is not the heart of your life. It's not the monolithic thing that maybe it once was, or maybe that you hoped your career would be. No, I think that at this point in your journey through life, yeah, you are very focused on this magic, this spiritual awakening, maybe even finding a religion or returning to a religion that you possibly like grew up in, right? There seems to be this really potent stream of divinity in your life, and you are very aware of that. Some of the other things in your life maybe are, I wouldn't say neglected, but maybe they are not as prioritized. Not saying that's a bad thing. Not at all. Actually, I think it's really important that we have these moments in our life where we are very spiritually minded, self-work minded, whatever that looks like. When you can get into those modes and you have the ability to support yourself to do so, it's a blessing. Take it, right? Now, this person, it almost kind of feels like maybe it's somebody at work. Maybe it's somebody who is kind of, oh, well, their head's not super in the game right now, so maybe I can posture a little bit, make some moves, and I can try to get their position. I can maybe outshine them. Maybe I can assert my importance in this. And I keep thinking this is like in an office. Now, I've never really worked in an office, so I don't know what really, I've seen kind of the media portrayals of what office politics are like. But I'm not sure that that's true or not. But I do feel like there must be some degree of it being kind of a soap opera, or being, a place where, yeah, you have to kind of, mind your P's and Q's and watch out. People are prone to causing trouble for one another, tattling on each other, and trying to kind of edge each other out of their positions. And so I think that this is something to be mindful of. Now, you might think, I don't even care. I'm here to make a paycheck. I don't care if they get the raise or whatever, they get the position over me. I don't want to do it anyways. I'm making enough. I'm doing pretty good, and it's supporting the life that I really care about, which is not at work. And yeah, that's all valid. But I would just be wary, or at least be aware, right? Be aware that there is a fox in the hen house. There's somebody, they are on a mission. Now, when I was starting this reading, I saw this person standing here, and immediately what came to mind is praying for rain. And I thought, what does that mean? Are you literally praying for rain? Have you been in a drought? Are you in a place where you're having a lack of rains this year, or maybe it has been something that has been going on for some years. Maybe it is that this isn't literal, but there is a kind of hoping for, I I was going to say maybe it's resources, like you literally kind of praying for money to show up. But I don't know that it's that either. I think that this is kind of like a prayer for guidance. Maybe a prayer for feeling some kind of confirmation that you're on the right path. You want signs, synchronicities. You want to know that you're going the right way, that you're not just kind of in a delusion, right? And I think that's really normal of us practitioners, of those of us who go down these spiritual paths. There are so many times in my own practice within magical work, occult work, self-work, where I question, is this just silly, nonsensical stuff? Am I just doing this because it's something that I find interesting and it doesn't really mean anything, that it doesn't change anything? It's just kind of like, you know, mental gymnastics that I'm going through, right? I'm going through these like kind of rituals, ceremonies, processes that, what does it all mean? I don't know, you know. But then there are other times where, yeah, you can fully see how it has transmuted your life. And maybe it's not so quick that it's apparent, you know. It's like, I wish for, you know, to have like a husband and then he shows up the next day. Maybe not, right? But you might look at the larger picture, the arcs of your story, of your life, and start to see like this stuff really does impress itself on your reality. You are the architect of your life. And so whatever it is that you are doing or you're hoping to do, staying about the work is really what's going to get you there, if it feels like it or not. And so when I see this and I feel this, it's this, I'm praying for rain, I'm praying for rain. You know, it is this belief in something greater than yourself. And I think, you know, personally, I believe that is so important. It is something that, and it doesn't have to have a name. It doesn't have to have some kind of imagery related to it. It doesn't have to, you know, be spiritual really at all. But just to know that there are greater forces in the universe, things that are so vast and beyond our understanding, that it is truly the mystery, right? And so I see you here. I see you in this high priestess mode. I see you talking to the divine, praying, trying to manifest the things that you want in your life, the things that you need in your life. And I do feel like this is a time where maybe you are looking for something like ritual. Maybe you are looking for something, you know, like a church or a mosque or a temple or some gathering of people who have similar inclinations, so that you can have community and fellowship, so that you can come into a place where things feel meaningful, like there's some kind of movement in your life. And I feel like this is a place where you are not moving out of desperation, right? There are so many times where we maybe get away from our God or our you know, relationship with the divine or our spiritual beliefs. And we're busy and we're living life and caught up in this and that. And then something happens, right? Something that maybe is difficult. Maybe it's scary. Maybe there's loss. Maybe there is the threat of loss. And you return to those spiritual practices so intensely to kind of combat whatever it is that's going on, right? Praying, please God, help me, please God. You know, I need some assistance, I need some guidance, I need to, you know, have some way of figuring this all out. But here in this moment, I don't feel that it is an act of desperation. I feel that, yeah, you are naturally in this kind of ebb and flow, and you are returning to these places of genuinely feeling connected to the divine and seeing the magic in your own life, creating the magic in your own life. And I see we have an angel up here that is beneath a crescent moon, okay? We also have another person who is looking up towards the sky, again, looking at the moon, and in maybe a state of awe to some degree. So I feel really kind of the presence of this guardian angel, and I feel you becoming very aware of their presence. I feel you having really kind of apparent phenomena in your life. Maybe even kind of an apparition or a visitation of some kind. It might be very potent dreams. It could be visions or whatever. But I do see that kind of emerging, okay? Now, I want to do these oracle cards. I'm using them as kind of clarifying cards, and they are the Oracle of the Radiant Sun. And I'm just going to pick 3 of them, and then we're going to kind of just see what is this going to look like for you, okay? And already I love this. We have this beautiful, it is an angel showing up, but also a constellation. And we have a person hiding behind the tree, right? And I almost feel like, yeah, it's like this moment where the divine is showing up, and you are pulled towards this spiritual encounter, this general spiritual energy flowing through your life, but you have a really hard time believing it. There's almost a feeling of like, am I losing my mind? Am I just like a fool? Am I just falling for these nonsensical things? Like, I never thought that I would be that person, right? But I do. I feel like you have a rising sentimentality, a rising empathy, a rising it feels like a spiritual compass here. And your perception is widening. And that can feel difficult. Now, we're going to pick the second one. Adaptability. This one comes up a lot, it feels like. So I do feel like, yeah, it is. You are coming into a place of changing a little bit. You're adapting to this new feeling in your life. And it does. It feels like your life is, it's like you wake up one day, everything feels different. You've woken up in a different world, right? Am I on a new timeline? You know, that kind of feeling. And I feel you really adapting quickly to this. Also being open and accepting as you get further into it. Okay, now we're going to do one more. Let me see that I don't do these upside down. I'm just going to actually, I want to really, let's see, where are we going here? I want to see the last one. Okay. Status. Okay, status. I want another clarifier for that, because the first thing I thought was, are you going to do something with this kind of turn towards this divine energy? Almost like, are you going to go into some kind of work within, maybe, I don't know, maybe some kind of like ministering or like healing or guidance, maybe like a life coach or, you know, something where I feel like it just starts to come so naturally as you get further into this path. And you start to build like a lot of confidence in your work, a lot of connection to that other thing, kind of one foot in the material world, one foot in that other, you know, beyond, right? You're on the straddling the borderlands basically, and turning it into something that you can do with your life. And make resources, but that's the least of the concerns, I think. And what comes of it, I think, is some degree of status, being elevated within your faith. And I'm going to do one more. We're going to do this last one. Escape. All right. Okay, of course. Something that's completely the other way. So then we have escape. Okay. So yeah, it does feel like I feel like it is kind of an escape from this life that you have built yourself. And that sounds awful to say, and I don't mean to offend, but I think so often we build up these lives that we think are going to be perfect for us, or at least good enough, right? We maybe follow all of the rules. We go to school, we do well enough that we can get into a college or a university. We go do that, you know, we meet somebody, we get married, we get the job that we want, we're living the life, you know, maybe you have enough money, you can maybe even buy a house, which seems almost impossible in this day and age. You know, but you do all the things and you get there and you're in it, and it's like you're standing on top of the world, or at least you should be. And it's not fulfilling. It's not what you envisioned. Not really. You know, it's all the things, and all those things are populating your life, but you don't feel it. You don't feel the glee that you thought you would. You don't feel the ability to, you know, kind of unfurl and be yourself within your own life. And then you get into these moments where spirit becomes so apparent, and you begin to walk down that path, and you begin to become your own initiate. And more your life starts to look different. And more you feel like maybe you are exiting this old way. Maybe the life that you thought was so glorious, so important to obtain, it doesn't mean that much anymore. And so you slowly start to walk away from it. Maybe in little ways at first. And then it all starts to really change. And maybe it is, you know, you want to move, you want to work in a different field. Maybe even, you know, end your relationship, be alone, or start a new one, or whatever. I think this is what they call the midlife crisis. Not to make light of it, but it is, you know, similar to. Hopefully you're having, if you've had one or if you're in the middle of one, like myself, I feel like I'm fully in midlife crisis. Although, you know, I love getting old. I mean, I absolutely do. I feel like it is such a privilege. You know, I do not plan to age gracefully. I'm going to just let it all kind of go. No, I'm kidding. I'm just gonna... but I do. I plan to, you know, just be what I am. Do what I do. And really embrace the fact that I can't believe I'm still alive, right? And that's really what it is for me. I'm so excited about getting older and older yet and becoming that full crone, because I can't even believe that I survived myself. My life has been a disaster at times and has been very difficult and painful at times. And so yes, I'm all about that. And now I feel like, you know, this maybe is not the midlife crisis that I'm going through, which is really just equates to me wearing clothes that I would have worn when I was a teenager. Just going full goth again. But I just got a like a purse that I could put my little like pins and stuff on, the little enamel pins. And my husband, shout out to my husband over at Dove and Serpentero, my husband Paul, he's like, I asked him, do you like my outfit that I got? Like, it's a skirt and a band shirt, like one of my old band shirts, and this purse that I could put my pins on and it protects them. He's like, yeah, I mean, you look really good, kind of like a teenager. And I'm like, well, thank you. That's, yeah. So, maybe you're going through a change like I am. But I think that really for you, it just feels like, yeah, this is a time where this spiritual work just, it feels so important. And it feels like, you know, nothing is going to really be the same, but it's always like that, right? Nothing stays the same. And I feel like in some ways you might worry that, I don't know, maybe that you're letting go of too much, or it's a scary feeling that things that were really important, that were priorities, that like now they aren't. And when that happens, it can make us feel like we're losing our identity, and that can be very painful. But this is a privilege, right? It is a privilege to be somebody who is awakening. And that loss of identity is most necessary. That feeling of looking around at your life and thinking, is this the stuff that is actually important? Is this the stuff that, you know, I've hung on to it for so long because I've dedicated myself to it. And yet now I realize it doesn't mean anything to me anymore. It's not of service to my greater goals, you know. And so, yeah, just be kind to yourself, because it can feel quite destabilizing. Now, we're going to take a look here, and it says, We have a bird. We have another bird. We have, it looks like a lot of messages coming through. We have that sacred deer again. Right here you can see the eyes, kind of the face. We have the birds here, here, here. So we also have the fire symbol, which is the upright triangle. So I feel like this is kind of a calling to expressing yourself artistically. And I feel like, you know, you don't have to be somebody who's very skilled in any medium, but finding some way to, even like collaging, doing dream boards or vision boards, maybe arranging flowers, or you know, changing the colors in your house, or you know, you might paint or write, or you're somebody who keeps a journal, or whatever it is, right? It doesn't matter. It could be anything. It could be a latch hook. I'm really interested in latch hook, by the way. So finding something to put this energy into as well, creating something of beauty, creating something of honesty. And I think that's the thing, having a place where you can voice your experience. And I feel like that's going to be maybe the most important part of this whole journey that you're on right now, is getting to that spiritual zone that you're really walking further and further into, but also making something with it, crafting, you know, I don't know, creating like a new meal, and it's like I can't even think of what. I'm thinking of cakes right now. My birthday's coming up in a couple weeks here. And I was just talking to my husband before I started doing this reading. We have to go shopping. And I was like, I figured out what kind of cake I want. And I would like you to make. He's going to make a lemon cake with cream cheese frosting and like a blackberry compote to pour over it. And I'm super excited. I'm so excited. So that's what I was thinking of, creating some beautiful new dish, whatever it is, right? Something that feels passionate to you, potent. It's like opening up the door in your chest and letting it just flow out, right? All of that passion. Okay, so we're going to do our gratitude affirmation cards. I'm going to flip through. I'm going to stop where it feels right. We're going to flip it over. It says, astral knowledge. I am grateful for the store of knowledge passed down from ages of old. Mathematics, science, medicine, and inventions represent the accumulation of our shared ancestry. Practice. Think of a societal advance, technology, or medicine that benefits you on a daily basis. Give thanks for past generations whose layered knowledge created a foundation for that tool. Well, I'm going to say it. I thank YouTube. I thank all of you ancestors out there that did the work that led to YouTube, because I love it. I thank you for it. I spend a lot of time on it. I do. I've been really into listening to Duncan Trussell. He's a comedian, but he's also quite a mystic. very, very interesting dude. But he has like these, or well, people have made compilations of his podcasts where they call them happy core. And he really is. He's just this guy that he fully recognizes the mystery and night side and darknesses in the world, you know, the chaos and the pain and all these things, and yet finds the light, right? And yet finds the reason, the beauty in humanity and you know, our collective evolution, spiritual and otherwise. And really, sometimes I have to be, that's the tip I have to be on. I'm on YouTube looking for very positive messages, because it does, when we start to really get into that gratitude place, when we can find a little bit of light even in, you know, the darkest circumstances, yeah, we will find a way. We'll find a way. And so, Libra, I'm going to go ahead and tell you I love you, and I thank you so much for spending this time with me. It is always such an honor to be able to bring these messages to you. And if you would be so kind as to like the video, it really does help the channel so much. And if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit that little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. It is free to subscribe. And what else? Oh yes, if you'd like to leave a comment, I would love to hear from you, especially if you're new to the channel. I definitely want to hear from you. Shout it out in the comment section. Tell me, I've only been here one time, or I've been here a few times, and, you know, I don't know, maybe you don't like it. Hopefully you love it. I don't know. But thank you so much for putting up with me. I feel so disjointed. I feel like I'm getting I think it's a cold. I'm hoping it's a cold. But the last like 2 days, 3 days maybe, every time I start to slow down in between my responsibilities and chores and errands and things, I'm sitting here and I can feel it setting into my throat, into my chest a little bit. And just that, like, have you ever had that where everything kind of smells a little gross? You know, it's like, you know, you're kind of getting sick because it's just not disgusting, but you can tell, like, okay, something that usually smells really good just doesn't smell exactly right. And, yeah, I'm gonna go get in bed. Let's go take a nice nap for a while. So thank you for putting up with me. I love you. We'll talk in a few days. Good night, good night, good night.